All right, let's talk about something that's at the heart of all the tech we use, software testing. Today, we're going to get into the humble test case. It seems like just a simple checklist, but it's actually the absolute bedrock for building technology you can actually rely on.
Okay, let's be real for a second. If you've ever worked in software, this quote from Daniel Knott probably hits pretty close to home, right? Writing test cases can feel like such a chore, like you're just writing down the obvious. But trust me, there's a really powerful logic hiding just underneath the surface.
At its most basic, testing really splits into two main paths. First, you've got positive testing. This is what we call the happy path. You're just checking that the software does what it's supposed to do. You log in with the right password, and it works. Easy. But then you have negative testing, the error path, where you are intentionally trying to break it. You throw invalid stuff at it just to see how it reacts. And you need both. They're absolutely critical. Now, maybe a small startup that's moving super fast might cut a few corners on formal test cases. But in big, regulated industries like healthcare or finance, they're not a choice. They're a requirement. In those worlds, a bug isn't just an annoyance. It could mean a huge financial loss, or even worse, put someone's safety at risk. Test cases are the proof, the paper trail, that you've thought through every single possibility.
So that brings us to our first section. Let's kind of lean into this idea of testing as a necessary evil and really break down what it takes to make a great test case. So what even is a test case? Well, think of it like a formal script. It tells you exactly what inputs to use, the step-by-step actions you need to take, and, this is key, precisely what the outcome should be. For instance, think about adding an item to a shopping cart. A positive test confirms you can add it. A negative test checks what happens if the item is sold out. And an edge case, that's where the fun starts. That's where you try to order, 2 billion of them and see if you can break the system. The full-blown professional process can have like 15 steps. It's a lot. But honestly, it all boils down to these four main stages. First, you have to understand the requirements. Don't write a single test until you know exactly what the thing is supposed to do. Second, you gotta identify all the possible scenarios, not just the happy one. Third, write down the actual steps and results so clearly that a total stranger could run the test. And finally, you have to organize and maintain them. Because believe me, an outdated test is way worse than no test at all.
Okay, so that's one single test case. But in the real world, it doesn't just exist in a vacuum, right? Let's zoom out and look at the professional's playbook to see how this one little piece fits into the whole grand scheme of things. Whoa. Okay, this might look a little complicated, but this is the reality of professional-grade testing. It's a map based on the international standard, ISO 29119. And if you squint a little, you can see our test case specification right in there. See? It's just one tiny piece of a much, much bigger puzzle that's all connected to test plans, reports, and logs. This isn't just about writing down steps. It's a whole ecosystem for quality control.
So that ISO standard looks pretty intense, pretty rigid. How on earth does that translate to modern, super-fast, agile teams? Well, instead of all that heavy documentation, they apply the same principles, just in a more dynamic way. They use risk to figure out what's most important to test first. They automate a ton of stuff to build quality in from the very beginning. They get constant feedback in meetings like stand-ups. And they keep all their test scripts and plans in one central place so everyone can get to them. Same goal, just a much leaner way to get there.
And all of this complexity, of course, leads us to the big question on everyone's mind these days. Could AI just do this for us? Could it be the answer to writing all these test cases quickly and at scale? But hold on. Before we answer that, let me ask you a different question. When you think about everything we've just talked about, what do you think is the single hardest part of software testing? Is it writing the scripts? Is it managing all those documents? What is it? Well, according to a survey of people who actually do this for a living, it's not even close. A whopping 96.2% of them said the hardest part is just figuring out what to test in the first place. That's the real puzzle, connecting a big business idea to the very specific scenarios that will prove it actually works. And this is exactly where something like a large language model, an LLM, comes into play. The big idea is to train these things to read a business requirement, a use case, and then automatically spit out a whole bunch of test cases, covering all those positive, negative, and weird edge scenarios we were talking about earlier. And you know what? The results are really promising. This table here shows a few different AI models and their BERT score, which is basically just a fancy way of measuring how closely their generated text matches something a human would write. And the results are kind of surprising. A giant model like GPT-4o does a great job, sure. But look, smaller models like Llama and Mistral, when they're fine-tuned on specific test case data, actually do better. This is huge news for companies who want to use this kind of AI securely without sending all their secret sauce to outside servers. But okay, performance scores are one thing. How do these AI-generated test cases actually hold up when a real human expert takes a look? Let's put them head-to-head. This is where the story gets really fascinating. When you ask humans to score the results, for readability, the AI actually scores a tiny bit higher than humans. It is amazing at writing clear, easy-to-read text. It's also neck and neck on correctness. But look at that last bar, completeness. Humans are still noticeably better at covering all the weird little scenarios and tricky edge cases. The machine just misses things that a human expert would catch. And that really points to where the limitations are right now. AI models can hallucinate. They literally just invent tests that don't make any sense. They can also get repetitive, writing the same test over and over with slightly different words. And like we just saw, their biggest weakness is just not having enough coverage. They can easily miss those really creative, out-of-the-box problems that make a system truly solid. So, what does it all mean? Well, the evidence seems to be pointing in one direction. We probably aren't looking at an AI that's going to replace human testers. What we're likely looking at is an AI that creates super testers. It's going to be a powerful assistant that can handle all the boring, repetitive work, which frees up the human experts to do what they do best, thinking critically, creatively exploring the edges, and making sure the quality is truly there.